right, and here we have Denver Johnny Encore with the pull to Minneapolis Surly. Encore is up 6 to Surly's 4.
Ryan Farrell on that pull for Johnny Encore.
And Surly catches the disc in the end zone and centers up and outside the end zone. Big scooper over. Finds his receiver on the right side near the sideline. Surly was working it down the right side. Surly centers, swings just left of center, swings to the left sideline, back to the middle.
Behind the pedal, you know who you think you are.
Big throw, gets D'd by Craig Forshee of Denver Johnny Encore.
Craig Forshee with that D for Encore.
And timeout is called by Denver Johnny Encore. Ryan Farrell calls the timeout. Encore's up 6-4. Encore here is looking to add a third championship of the day to Denver's total. Denver Johnny Walker, Grandmasters man, won the first championship in a universe game against Minneapolis Surly. Denver Molly Gray, Masters women in the second, 15-6 against San Francisco Salty. And here we have another Denver-Minneapolis battle happening in the men's Masters division. Here in Aurora, Colorado, just outside of Denver. Denver Johnny Encore has the disc. They called a timeout. They have most of the field to work to the right side as you view the field against Minneapolis Surly.
Ryan Farrell with the disc for Encore out of that timeout.
We're about to get this game going. Finds a cut right against the right sideline. Pick call was made. The disc will stay with the receiver. Was not his guy that got picked. Worsheim centers. Handler finds a cutter on the right side. Puts up a big floaty throw to the end zone where it is caught for a score. Ryan Farrell scores the 7th point in the game for Denver Johnny Encore with Minneapolis Surly 4. Surly with 4, Encore with 7. Minneapolis Surly is ready to receive with Denver Johnny Encore ready to pull, and the pull is up.
Andrew Mangan on that pull for Encore.
Surly centers the front of the end zone. Swings it over to the right. Finds a receiver to the right on the right side. Finds another receiver further down the right side. Ooh, great grab to another receiver. Slow, methodical working. Big hammer to the left side, caught in the end zone. Score, Minneapolis Surly 5, Denver Johnny Encore 7.
Kyle Gilton, Nick Turco in the end zone for the Surly score.
Big score there for Minneapolis Surly.
That's Denver
Hammer
7,
swung from the right
Minneapolis
side to the
5.
left.
We won the party. Yeah, we sat in the lobby for
Denver Johnny Encore getting ready to receive.
Really? No, it's fine. You got me up though?
And they're ready.
Right? We dropped the deal.
Minneapolis Surly to pull. And here comes the pull from Minneapolis
Joe
Surly.
Brisboy on the pull for Surly.
The pull is up. That pull lands out the back here in the thin mountain air of Denver, Colorado. Technically Aurora, just outside of Denver. Johnny Encore will get the disc. The brick mark in the center of the field, 20 yards up from their end zone. Head stack going. Receiver Ryan Farrell streaking deep. Disc is dump swung to the left side. Finds a cutter on the left side who swings it back to the center. Finds a receiver on the right side. Swings it back to the center. Shoots it downfield, down the middle to a cutter. Cutter dumps to Bart Watson, middle of the field. Throws to a receiver who calls foul. When he doesn't come up with it,
Foul call.
some hard contact was made.
Uncontested foul.
The defender does not contest that he fouled the
Steven Rose
receiver.
with the disc for Encore.
The receiver will thus keep that disc. Be treated as a completion.
Lou Abramowski on the mark. Coming in on 1.
The disc is in. Johnny Encore centers the disc, swings to the left side. Ryan Farrell with it, dumps it to Bart Watson on the left sideline, who shoots it down the sideline where a defender is ready to get the D. Turnover from Johnny Encore
Doug Jacobs
to Minneapolis
on that
Surly.
deep for Surly.
Surly centers. Find a receiver on the right side. Throws to a big throw to the end zone where the receiver catches it for the score. Right against the right sideline. Minneapolis Surly 6, Denver Johnny Encore 7. It's a 1-point game again.
Minneapolis 6.
After being down 3, Surly finds 2 scores in a row, and they're now only down 1. Minneapolis Surly is fired up. They want this championship. They want to spoil Denver's 3 championship day, winning their 3rd championship in 3 divisions after the men's Grandmasters Johnny Walker team won on University against Minneapolis Surly Grandmasters, and the Masters women Molly Gray won big 15-6 over San Francisco Salty. We got a close game here in the men's Masters division. Minneapolis Surly was 6, pull into Johnny Encore with 7. Take a halftime at 8.
Nick Peterson on the pole for Surly.
And the pole is up. Sailing to the right. Lands out of bounds.
Out of bounds on the
Johnny
pole.
Encore will take it at the brick mark, 20 yards up from their
We're
end zone
watching
in the
over
center
to
of the
pick up
field.
for Encore. He'll put it in play from the brick mark.
Bart Watson with the disc at the brick mark for Johnny Encore. Looking for a receiver, finds one to the right. That receiver calls a foul on his throw. We'll get the disc back. Unless they go to the observer, and the observer overrules the foul call. They are going to the observer. The observer rules. Foul.
Coming in on
Disc
3.
will stay. Bart Watson with the disc again in the middle of the Ryan swings over to the right side to Adam Chicken Simon, who gives it back, tries to get it back to him, but it gets D'd as he hangs it up into the air. Minneapolis Surly disc.
Peterson with a D for Surly.
Surly gets it towards the center, just to the left of center. Dump swing to the right. Big hammer. Perfect hammer. Finds the receiver in the end zone left. Minneapolis Surly just tied this game up 7-7 against Denver Johnny Encore after being down 7-4. Tie game, next point, takes half.
Halftime coming soon to an ultimate game near you.
Timeout has been called by Denver Johnny Encore as they strategize a way to make sure they score the next point and take half. They'll be receiving the disc from Minneapolis Surly.
Timeout on the field. Johnny Encore takes their
The
second
slight
and
upwind to
final
work
timeout
against.
of the first half.
There's a slight. Anyone just joining us, we're on timeout. In the men's Masters final, where Minneapolis Surly just tied it up 7-7 against Denver Johnny Encore. And Encore is ready to go. Putting on an offensive line here. And Surly's ready to go too. Putting on a defensive line. But they'll be pulling to Denver Johnny Encore. Observer on the opposite side. Now waits for Minneapolis Surly to indicate readiness to pull.
Alex Baker on the pole for Surly.
Surly's ready. Pull coming. Pulls up. It's going to be out of bounds on the right side. Denver Johnny Encore will put it in at the brick mark. Adam Chicken Simon with the disc. 20 yards up from the end zone in the middle. Disc is in. Disc is up. to Bart Watson, who calls a foul on the right side of the field.
Foul called.
We'll see what the defender thinks, whether the contact in his mind caused the lack of a catch, or if Bart had already fumbled that disc. It was pretty heavy contact. Will it be ruled incidental? No contest.
No contest
Defender
on the
agrees. Too much contact. Was a
Watson
foul.
winning it on
Bart Watson
one.
will keep it right here on the right sideline.
Zach Eastland on the mark.
Bart it up big, tailing to the left, over the all the.
We have an injury.
It's like unrelated to that catch. Player was injured on Minneapolis Surly.
Kevin Sealer down for Surly.
That's halftime, folks. Denver Johnny Encore just took half 8-7 over Minneapolis Surly.
That's halftime here in our men's game. Denver Johnny Encore 8. Minneapolis Surly.
In 3 divisions. Grandmasters men, Johnny Walker, the double game. Point, Salty 15-6. We have a very tight game here, though. Similar to the Grandmasters men's game. It's Denver against Minneapolis, and it's close. Some of the players on Minneapolis Surly want to get some more touches in. Surly likely running a very tight rotation, as most teams will do at this point in their weekend. Most of them come with a squad of 29 or so players, 7 on the field at a time, which means by the time they get to the championship game here, they're only playing 14 to 18 of those players. I suppose that's good that we just have 4 or so Surly players that feel like they need to loosen up after 15 points. Meanwhile, Denver Johnny Encore look like they're not quite as eager. Oh, here come 2 guys, Bev and Rabbit, to do some warm-ups. Yeah, here come the Johnny Encore guys. Make sure they stay loose. Halftime if you're just joining us. Johnny Encore is up 8-7 over Minneapolis Surly. Very, very close game. They were leading 7-4 before giving up 3 in a row to Minneapolis Surly, but they did score that last point to take half.
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
On a throw that really went over the intended receiver and his defenders, but there was another receiver there to pick up the trash. Just enough wind to make it interesting. Johnny Encore. One hole deficit for Minneapolis Surly. Close game, could go either way, absolutely. The home field advantage is real, as Denver is in all 3 of the championship finals today, having won 2 already.
1 minute to hand,
Only
guys.
Minneapolis now can spoil that perfect Denver championship record for this year's USA Ultimate Masters Championships. Denver Johnny Encore is ready to roll. Now Minneapolis Surly is ready as well. Minneapolis receiving. Johnny Encore will be pulling to start the half. Minneapolis Surly here, closer in white, have indicated to the observer that they are ready to receive. Now we look down the field to see if Johnny Encore is ready to pull. Johnny Encore in red. 7 defenders ready to run down with the pull onto Surly's waiting offensive line. And here comes the pull.
Andrew Megan on the pull for Johnny Encore to get us
The
underway.
pull is floating out of bounds on the right side. We'll see where that went out. The observer indicates where it went out. It'll be pretty close to the brick mark. 20 yards up or so from the end zone in the middle of the field.
He'll put it in play from the brick mark.
Right at the brick mark. The disc is in. Minneapolis Surly with the disc. Under shouldered away by Ryan Farrell, the defender in red. Foul called.
Foul called.
Ryan will talk about why he thought it was incidental contact. Receiver will talk about how it was made in such a way that he couldn't have avoided his path. He comes to the observer rules it was indeed a foul. It will be the receiver's disc on the end zone line.
Foul call.
Not a score, but millimeters away.
The disc will stay with Surly. Kyle Gill to put it in play just outside of the end zone.
Disc is in, right up on the end zone for Surly, who put it up to a receiver on the left side, who comes down with it. Surly scores to tie it up, 8-8.
Gill into the end zone for Kevin Ryan, and the Surly score. We're all tied up at 8.
Denver Johnny Encore 8, Minneapolis Surly 8. Tie ball game, game to 15. That was the first point of the half. Denver offensive line getting ready now to work it down. In red, Denver Johnny Encore getting ready to receive, have indicated readiness. We now turn our attention downfield to Minneapolis Surly in white, who have also indicated readiness to pull.
Doug Jacobs on the pull for Surly.
And the pull is up. And that pull sails all the way across from left to right, out the left side of the end zone.
Out of bounds on the pull.
Johnny Encore will put it in at the brick mark. Disc will be coming in 20 yards up from the end zone, middle of the field. Johnny Encore and Red's disc. They have 8. Minneapolis Surly has 8. Immediate swing to the left side to Bart Watson. Looking for a receiver. Dumps it back to the middle of the field. Find a receiver on the right side of the field. Swings it to Ryan Farrell in the middle. Ryan finds a receiver cutting straight up the middle. Swings out left to Bart Watson, but a pick is called. It was his guy, did affect the play, coming back to the thrower in the middle of the field.
Back to Ted Tripoli.
Left side. Bart shoots down the left side, hits Ryan in the hands, bobbles it, but comes up with it in the end zone. Score for Johnny Encore.
Bart. Watson.
If we made credentials for this event, you'd have one. If we made credentials for this event, you'd have one. That's what he's trying to say.
Should have given you my gimbal so you could have held that steady to horizon.
It's true. Minneapolis Surly is ready to receive. They've indicated so. Denver Johnny Encore is ready to pull. And here it comes.
Steven Ruiz on the pull for Encore.
Pull back into the end zone, gets centered to the front of the end zone by Minneapolis Surly. Finds a receiver on the right side. Surly finds a receiver in the middle, swing it to the left. Another swing right against the left sideline, shoots up the left sideline to a receiver just outside the end zone. That receiver, Dave Klink, gets it back towards the middle, still on the left side. Dumps it, swings it to the left side. Nice grab to save it. Surly knocking on the door here. Put up a big hammer. No one comes down with it. Gets tipped by the defense. Johnny Encore disc with a full field to work. Johnny Encore at the front of their end zone in red. Work it to their left side. Back to the center. Swinging it towards the right side. Rabbit with the disc. Justin Salvia swings it down the right sideline to David Borsheim. Pick is called. We'll go back to the thrower on that right sideline. They'll talk to the observer a little bit, and now they're ready to put it in.
Being on 4, there was a travel call there.
Travel was called, not pick. Johnny Encore swings the disc just left of center. Back to the center. Their own end zone. To a defender. Turnover. Minneapolis Surly disc right outside the end zone. They're attacking. And they call timeout. Minneapolis Surly takes a timeout. Being down 8 to Johnny Encore's 9.
That's Surly's first time out of the second
Game to
half.
15. Minneapolis Surly close enough to taste. Time up yet again. In the back of the end zone. Surly ties it up 12 to 12.
We're all tied up at 12.
Close game happening here. Minneapolis and Denver in the men's Masters division. Both teams are fired up. Neither team is worried. Both teams are hungry. Offensive 7 for this point. For Denver Johnny Encore ready to receive. They have a foot on the line of their end zone. Minneapolis Surly still sorting out their defensive 7 in the far end zone. And they're ready to go.
Mike Peterson on
And
the
here
ball
comes
for
the pull.
Surly.
Pull deep in the end zone. Johnny Encore fields it, moves it up to the front of the end zone, in the middle. Swing it out to the left to Bart Watson. Bart moves it down the field, still on that left side. Back to Bart Watts, centers it to Ryan Farrell. Farrell with a disc, launches a big backhand to the left side of the field. Work in this tie game. Minneapolis Surly bringing the disc in on the cone now. Launch, full field flick. And the receiver catches it. Despite pressure from 2 defenders, Minneapolis Surly takes their first lead of the game. They're up 13-12. Denver Johnny Encore down for the first time this game by 1 point. They have 12. Minneapolis Surly has 13. Surly fired up, putting on strong defensive 7 now. They'll be pulling to Denver's offensive 7 on the far end zone. On the far sideline, Denver Johnny Encore has signaled readiness. They're ready to receive. Now we wait to see when Surly is ready to pull. All right, and Surly is ready to pull. Surly in white with.
Come on, Mike Kelly, nice pull. Get a block, red hat.
And the pull is up.
Nice pull, Mike Kelly.
Nick Turco on the pull for Surly.
Johnny Encore fields the disc in their own end zone, quickly moves it out. Adam Simon with the disc, swings it to the right side to Bart Watson, right on the sideline. Receiver streaking deep. Bart finds Bob Cryer underneath on the side. Call is made, stop play.
Foul called.
Foul was called.
No contest, coming in on 1.
We're in agreement it was a foul. Disc is in to Adam Simon in the middle. Adam moves it to the left side. Now Ryan Farrell right on the sideline with the disc. Swings it back to the middle of the field, but then gets it back on this left side. Finds Adam Simon, who puts up a big flick to the right, trying to get Bart Watson, but throws it too far, wide, out of bounds. It will be Minneapolis Surly's disc on that cone, that far cone of this end zone. They have the full field to work it. Surly is up by 1, 13-12 against Denver Johnny Encore. Looking to go up by 2 here if they can make this happen. Disc is in play. Throw goes up towards the middle, 10 yards up from their own end zone. Swing to the right side. Surly centers, 5 yards up from their end zone. Swings back to the right. Finds their cutter in the middle, who swings out to the left. Back to that cutter in the middle, who finds a cutter upfield all alone. That cutter dumps to the left, swings, big hammer to the end zone. Nobody can get there, neither defender nor receiver. Turnover in the end zone. Johnny Encore's disc. Full field to work with. Not quite trapped on the sideline, but on that right side of the field. Ryan Farrell is picking it up. Ryan Farrell puts the disc in play. Quickly swing, catches the disc in the end zone for a score to tie this game back up. Denver Johnny Encore 13, Minneapolis Surly also 13. Game currently to 15, win by 2, unless the soft cap changes that situation in the next few minutes. Hard point cap will be at 17. Now Denver Johnny Encore takes a timeout. So we're in a timeout. Game is tied up, 13-13. Johnny Encore from Denver here in red. Minneapolis Surly a little further down the field in white. This is our third and final game of the day for the Men's Masters Division. Previous 2 finals in the Grand Masters Division and Women's Masters Divisions. Championships both went to Denver teams. The Johnny Walker team in the Grand Masters Division, the Molly Gray team in the Women's Masters Division. Denver Johnny Encore looking to add to that total for the Mile High City, a 3rd championship of the day. Minneapolis looking to play spoiler to that plan. Johnny Encore's defensive line will be pulling. 2 Minneapolis Surly's waiting offensive line on the other end of the field. And Ryan Farrell looking to pull this pull to Denver crowd is excited about the possibility of another championship, and here comes the pull. Ryan launches it down the field. 2-minute waiting Minneapolis Surly receiver. Minneapolis on offense now. The disc just in the front of their end zone. Swing to the right side of their field. Move the disc up to a cutter who dumps back on the right side of the field still. Big throw, big flick to that receiver just outside of the end zone. A yard or 2, but finds another receiver for the score. Minneapolis Surly keeps the lead. Minneapolis Surly 14, Denver Johnny Encore 13. Getting close now. Soft cap horn, like we said, did go off before that pull was made, but after the point had officially started. Hard cap will be at 16, win by 1. But if Minneapolis Surly can get this turnover, get this break here and score a 15th, they will win 15-13. Towards Johnny Encore in red. Their offensive line, they have indicated readiness to receive. Observer lets Surly know that they can pull when they are ready. And here goes Minneapolis Surly
For Surly.
with the pole. Mike Peterson launches it. Disc is up. Denver Johnny Encore. Adam Simon receives. Quickly moves it outside the end zone to a handler who finds Ryan Farrell up, maybe 25 yards outside the end zone. Ryan holsters a throw, finds another receiver on the right side, about a third of the way out of the end zone down the field. Moves it up the field on that right side. That receiver swings it back. Now, bounce received on the left side. Observer here to make the call.
Turnover.
That is a turnover committed by Johnny Encore. Minneapolis Surly with the disc. They will have it right here, 10 yards up from their end zone, on the sideline. 60 yards to work this disc. Big hammer from Mike Peterson. Can't find the receiver over on